So it started with a square. Now we got the rest of philosophy.
Alright.
I'm Cameron.
Michael.
Brayden.
I'm Lane.
Episode 3. Start.
More like six. Yeah.
5, 6,
5.
no,
6.
4 videos and 2.
So 7. Episode 7.
First thing I just want to say is I think this is much better than a final. An actual final. I mean, honestly, too,
I'll get more out of it.
Absolutely. I mean, a final, I would forget a week from.
Yeah, you just.
You're ready alone in your room and you
I'll
don't
forget it when I
know.
walk out the door from counting it in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I wouldn't worry about it anymore.
And it's also better than writing the papers, I say too. The videos, even though it's a lot easier. True.
Because talking with others change your ideas and you kind of adapt or like
Right.
you change your ideas, your ways of thinking just by talking with others about the same stuff.
I think the kicker for the class that really started everything off was talking about Plato's Cave to start with.
And the Matrix.
Like, I mean, the Plato's Cave was just like, boom, welcome to philosophy. Here's your mind fuck of the year.
I mean, it was. It just.
Huh.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I expected philosophy. I just expected,
It's like, why is everything there?
It's just felt it would be boring.
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah.
actually,
It was actually fun.
yeah, I mean, you
Interesting.
But, like, Plato's Cave, like, what would you guys say was the takeaway from that? Into the future of the world rather than just what it was, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it set up the entire
Semester.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it did.
He's probably the most well-known philosopher. That's probably why. Not like Socrates, who's just Socrates, the beginning, the first, and then Plato, the most well-known, especially with the Matrix. No, I don't think there's another movie based on any other truly one philosopher like the Matrix, based on only, well, probably a little bit other, but mainly Plato.
Just the cave idea, though, not even like just Plato, but Plato's cave idea is one single
His
idea.
key idea.
But I think you can look at the class as Plato's cave as well. Like, before coming into class, we were kind of in Plato's cave. You think, well, we never thought about philosophy, we never thought about anything. But all of a sudden, like, Dr. Watts is kind of the guy that went outside the cave. You know, he was like, when he experiences different things with studying philosophy, and then he comes back and tries to tell us all about it and tries to tell us how to experience it. We couldn't really experience it without seeing it ourselves. So he shows us through videos, through different things. It's kind of like actually Plato's cave.
Yeah. If you were
And
in Plato's Cave.
At the beginning, it was hard to like get out. We were just like stuck, chained in the cave. And then as we went by, we kind of started more thinking. Thinking like, why should I believe that? Why?
Why should we start questioning the world around us?
Well, that leads us into like Aristotle and the law of contradiction, non-contradiction, whatever you want to call it. Like how things, if something is right, it can't be wrong. If something's wrong, it can't be right.
It is the way it is.
Yeah, definitely. Like, and Aristotle also looked at like happiness is what humans strive for as well. So like, along with being what it is, I mean, you gotta be happy with it too.
Yes. You should always be happy. If you aren't happy, find another job. Or just live it until you can get another job.
Off that too, I've got here. I mean, it starts all with the law of non-contradiction. It means that truth and false can't be the same at the same time. There's got to be a clear distinction.
But then also there you gotta be, that's who you're talking to. Yeah, the chair thing you mentioned in class, red or blue chair. You can't tell us if it's a blue or red chair. You can give us what you think for your perspective is of it, but you can't say our perspective of the chair is wrong because you don't know what we see.
Yeah.
We could be the colorblind person you talk about the class before us or after us, whatever.
One easy answer. What chair? Prove that this chair does not exist. What chair?
You can't tell me the chair doesn't exist. You can't see what I'm seeing. You don't know what I know. Like, you never know. If I never touch a chair, it just could look like an image, like a hologram or whatever. You don't know it's a hologram until you touch it. Like, you see a lot of movies, they go try to hug the hologram and they just go right through it. And they're like, holy shit, it's not real. I don't have to literally listen to it. I don't have to follow what it says. Right? And so it's just kind of that idea of it's not real until you know for real it's yourself. Like the table, it may not look real until you touch it. You can hear it's solid. It's there.
Yeah, and you go back to like a philosophical look at it, like God, do you believe in God or not? Well, I mean, there's some things that maybe I do believe in God, but then there's other things that are like, oh, I don't. No, either you do or you don't. It's not one or the other. Like, you either think, yeah, he's there, or no, he's not.
And a lot of people are like, he's not there until I can actually see him, hear him, or whatever. People may say they hear him, but it could just be voices in their head.
And that's why back then Socrates or Aristotle about that, and they had the whole gods created the weather, and then they proved that gods don't create the weather. The weather happens because of the weather, the science. They proved science was true. So it's like they kickstarted the evolution of knowledge, logos.
The guy was died because he refused to leave, or Socrates. He was told to leave Athens because of his teachings, or died. And
He chose to die.
instead of.
He chose to die because he believed in this philosophical way.
You believe that it's like I am who I am because of this place, not someone else.
I am who I am because I am.
Cogito ergo sum. I think that's where I am. Because everything now right there.
That's true though. And like Aristotle also said, like the meaning of life wasn't happiness, so that's what he wanted everybody to strive for along with it, right? And being as good as you can be at everything you do. So personally, like for me, like that'd be like student, athlete, family, son, everything like to do with that would be being as good as I can at everything. So, and not picking priorities over one or the other, just rather being good at everything.
Yeah, you can't be a really good father as well as a really good husband or a really good employee. You got to kind of even them out or pick one to have a little bit more of the others. But it's like, he was such a good worker. He wasn't a very good father, a really good husband. He was just a good worker. And all the other two just kind of went to the wayside until he realized, oh crap, I better pay attention.
And same with Huckabees. The leader of Huckabees, he was a great worker, not a very good person, or he wasn't a very good friend. He just kept saying the same story. So all it was is a worker. He's happy at working, so that's all he writes about.
And also, with that girl, they weren't really together. They were just kind of there. And so she broke up with him just like that because he was just kind of figurehead. He was rich. She was kind of stayed with him and not really much happened between them. Right. So the sex life wasn't the greatest. And it's not everything in a relationship, but it does help that they're both going to be complaining and butting heads about it.
That's what shows the chemistry, though, between two people. Honestly, like that's the way we look at life today. Is if your sex life is good, you're probably good chemistry between the two of you, because it actually shows like your strong love between the two people. I would say that's how we look at it. Moving into the modern period, I guess we could say. Look at some of the different philosophers there. Hegel, Marx, Nietzsche, Darwin, Kierkegaard, those kind of guys. I think the big one in that one for me personally was Darwin, because that was the whole scientific being rather than a religious being.
Yeah, I mean that's where they really got the clash of science and there's evolution and then there's church. I mean, it was just
that goes. Sorry, go ahead.
The only thing with Darwin is, like, I truly believe Darwin, but when I heard that Darwin, like, because of Darwinism, that there's no reason for living because of Darwinism, it sparked the nihilist, which is modern or post-modernity nihilism, post-modernity, in which Darwin sparked that because he believed that, Darwinists believe that because we evolved, there's really no reason why we're here except for to reproduce.
And then going off that, I have here in the notes that purpose is pulling us into the future. I mean, that's what gives us that drive to go forward is purpose. as a race. I mean, and that's what I believe Charles Darwin was, trying to they push and say that the reason we exist is there's a purpose.
We don't know
We
that.
don't know that purpose, but that's why we're still here and why the human race is, not extinct yet. We have a purpose. What it is, we don't know.
Maybe back in the day our purpose was to survive, but now we survive, we're overpopulating. What do we do now? What's our purpose now?
Keep going.
We've settled in, we've settled in, but then what's our purpose now? Advanced technology where we like
Are we gonna
make ourselves go extinct
go
because
too far?
Well, the future is driven by the past, meaning that like whatever we get from the future is because something happened in the past that makes us want something different. So some type of adaptation, or like Darwin said, natural selection.
Okay. So now we're selecting the less and less smart people, more for their looks, their muscle, rather than their brains.
Yeah, right. We're
and also like you talk about
more brawn than brain.
we talked about this class. Smart people breed selectively. Stupid people or like not smart people, they just keep breeding. Yeah, like they're not like the richer people, they don't breed too much, but the poor people they breed to kind of keep their line going, like stay alive.
So
Right?
rich people are at like a 3-person max kind of thing.
Yeah, there's one kid, one two kids.
You look at the projects and they got 10 kids.
Yeah, because they want to make sure at least one of them survives,
Yeah.
or 9 of them help the one survive to get into college or whatnot, or like the older brothers and sisters protect the younger kids. And when the parents are too drugged up or whatever.
Isn't there a movie, I can't remember the name, where they go into the guy gets teleported in his future and everybody's kind of dumber than he is, and the world is full of idiots.
We're currently watching that in Persuasion right now. I think that's weird that I can't remember the name of the movie, but the guy, they're like in the future and this guy's really smart, but they keep turning down his band because he's smarter than everyone else. And in the future, it's everyone's the same. You don't want to be smart. You just want to be average.
That wasn't it.
Okay,
It was a different one because he was just an average Joe, not actually a little less than smart, but he gets teleported in the future where everybody's completely an idiot. Completely idiots, which almost I can see our life going there now. You can just, like,
Smart people don't want to tell people they're smart because they're going to get killed or they're being that smart. Like, make fun of them because they're so smart. Like, kind of now in high school, the smarter kids usually get bullied by the jocks
who aren't that smart.
who aren't that smart. And it's just like, well, the smart guy's usually kind of weak or whatever. He's not in the sports. So it's just like, he can't really defend himself. So if he kills himself because he's been bullied too much or the depression or whatever, then the bully prevailed and he's not very smart. We just lost a smart guy. So where's our race going to go?
Look at it.
Kind of go back to the eight with the cloud clothes on or whatever.
That's back to Darwinism and the survival of the fittest, right? Whoever is the fittest will survive. Not necessarily the meaning of who's more fit than the other, but who's more capable of living. Like if we had a zombie apocalypse today, who would live? Probably people that know how to run a gun.
Yeah.
Like I know I probably wouldn't survive.
Most South Dakota would survive, granted, because we're all spread out.
Yeah.
But like New York, you are so crammed together in their technology.
Just stay in your dorms. The dorms, this might be a giant tangent, but I've found the dorms are the best zombie-proof area there is.
Well, they're door locked on each floor.
Yeah, they're metal doors. Sorry.
You can go ahead. It's just that zombies.
Yeah.
We're going off on
Well, it's like, I mean, if we lose electricity, the geniuses, they don't know how to do as much stuff as like a MacGyver or Double
MacGyver's actually
Bill Robertson.
Good.
Well, we can produce stuff without having electricity. If the zombie apocalypse comes, electricity probably the first thing to go. So.
We're gonna move forward kind of into Freud, Nietzsche type era. Still part of modern, but very different viewpoints. Were very different from Darwin, right? If you look at Nietzsche, and his idea was the Übermensch and the superhuman and the Untermensch or the Intermensch. I don't know how to say it in German, but that would be like the subhuman, right? And his kind of thing. God is dead and we have killed him.
Yeah.
So what does that say? That's pretty powerful, right?
And Freud has the same thing with the Ubermensch in it. Well, it's not exactly the same thing because Freud had the subconscious, which is almost what the Ubermensch is. It's this subconscious that our id, pretty much, that we are based desires, and then going from there to more of our subconscious, which kind of controls our sub desires more towards like, okay, how am I a good person kind of thing, or like trying to be more humanized, and then to our conscious, which is what we how we control our modern day.
Yeah, definitely.
And then
You talk about now the measure like the new gods, and then the measure the peasants.
Right, I have the little picture that he drew in the class of the hills and the people, and like how Christianity is like meek and humble, and that's kind of like the morality, but that's not really.
yeah, the people who are on top aren't meek or humble. They're dominant and controlling.
Yeah, exactly.
So people don't they don't how do they say it? They don't do what they preach, or they contradict themselves a lot.
What I have for Nietzsche is we have come to find that all that exists is existence. And I feel like that just kind of summarizes.
Yeah, definitely. I would say for sure.
There's nothing in life but to live.
No meaning. It is what it is. Life is absurd.
I mean, going into nihilism.
Yeah.
And that shows that I Heart Huckabees, like the head of Huckabees, he was kind of the so-called Ubermensch, but realistically he wasn't. He was dumb. He was just powerful, and he had everybody kind of wrapped around his finger. And that just he tried to put like I think the two main guys, Mark Wahlberg and the other guy there. They were kind of like the Untermensch, kind of going along with life as meek and humble, but realistically they were just another piece of the puzzle for him, kind of like his little play toys to try and show them what to do.
Pawns, I guess.
Yeah, pawns would be a better word
This
for it.
is almost Nietzsche is almost like a skew between postmodernity and modern. It's almost that skew, kind of cross line, because once you get into postmodern or postmodernity, you're more into like nihilism and stuff like that, and phenomenology.
Is there any other thoughts on those philosophers? Yeah, we could talk about this for days, but
Keep moving while got the flow.
we're on topic.
Yeah.
Okay, we can move into phenomenology, the skepticism and the mind-body split. The big part of it.
You can almost see that we, like, back in the beginning, the mind and body actually were split there for a little bit, and then they got together again, and then now they're splitting them back apart.
So it's kind of like the main truth in a way. The body is separate from the mind was stuck in the virtual world while the body was still in the actual real world. And the body and the mind, once one died, then the other died too, but it's just like.
They're the same thing, but two separate entities.
Yeah, and it shows John in Ink. He was a perfect mind-body split. His mind was never where his body was. If he was at work, he's thinking, well, how am I going to get my kid back? This is with his kid. Well, how am I going to get my job?
No, I think he was more, like when he was at home, he was split. And then when he got to work, he was always at work. He was never home. He was always at work, or if he was at work, he might be at the thinking of the bar.
He definitely wasn't bracketing, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you talk about mind body split, the angels and the robots type idea, it's kind of,
Bodies are robots.
he was a robot. He was.
Oh yeah, he was definitely a robot.
And you look at, the little girl, she could be considered an angel in that essence, because it was all about her mind at that point. She's faking that a monster's taking her. She's got this whole imagination. She's completely with the mind, not necessarily with the body, I would say.
I don't think so, because like when they're talking about the phenomenology mind-body split, it means that your mind is in a different spot, not with your body. It's in a different spot. But when the little girl was playing, she was with her body, and thinking there. She wasn't like, okay, let's just
It's kinda
think
weird.
about work. John was somewhere else. He was doing the mind body split, and then he came back to his body, and it's like,
Same.
okay, same.
Yeah, it's kind of the time like when you zone out in class, you just like your mind's off somewhere else, or you're so intrigued in what you're doing on your computer, you're totally not paying attention to what you're talking about.
And then you come back.
And then you're like, oh, what'd you say? Oh, sorry, I missed that. Or something like that. Because that's happened to me plenty of times when Lane comes over, it just nods, starts talking to me, and it's like, oh, sorry, what?
Well, yeah, and that moves forward in the class to technology, and the essence of it was like, if you're trapped in your phone or your computer or whatever it might be, you're not listening to the outside world. You're not listening to anything. Like that's probably the main reason why we're on a lot of phones in class or a lot of on our computers and that kind of stuff.
You would be here in class.
Exactly. You're always on Facebook, Twitter, any type of anything.
We all have basically external brains.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, if you're sitting here on your phone, your head, it's in here. It's nowhere but in here. I mean,
Dude, that's
worried about.
Even if you shut it off, you guys are both worried about contributing to games. Like,
Yeah, it's
what's this
still,
question?
it's still in here. Like, I mean, we carry our brains in our pockets nowadays.
Just wait. I probably the next step of human evolution is we get rid of our physical or bodies and just like go download our minds into the technology and just live in the
What's
technology.
going to be is our technology is going to be able to respond to us without having to first
It's going to be a mind.
initiate. Yeah, our phone will be able to sit here and I'll be like,
Oh, we won't even have this
Yeah, I mean,
anymore.
you'll-
It will be in our heads.
yeah, I mean, you'll
Or
just
in our glass, like the Google thing.
you'll have to, instead of sitting here and manually unlocking my phone, with phone unlock, text this person, and I mean, because normally you would manually click a button to unlock your phone.
I can control it. Like I can send text messages just by telling it to.
Kind of like
Right now.
It's kind of like
Okay, now
Exactly.
That's what he said.
Eventually, it's going to be.
it's like Siri
going to be
before
a
Mac.
mind. Yeah, it's going to be a mind of its own. We're going to be creating
the Matrix.
not even the Matrix. We're going to be creating people in technology.
It's kind of like the idea of people with like who have amputees or whatever, who got their bionic arms. They control with their thumbs, and maybe if we can start doing that with our phones, and we don't have to have that connection, like the wire connections. Like we can just think about it, and then think, all right, with my fingers like this, and then just control your nerves or whatever, just by thinking about it, not actually doing it.
Yeah, so like that heads forward into like what the future looks like. I mean, I think it's got everything to do with technology. Like, we're not going to see a world that doesn't have technology anymore.
Unless something radical happens.
I don't see it.
I mean, whether you believe it or not, I mean, I'm personally, even though I have technology, I'm kind of against it. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
just look at school systems, how education is done. I mean, just so different from what it used to be. I mean, textbooks now are in our computers. I mean, we live off of technology. I mean, do we live in a society that knows how to function without it?
I don't think so.
I personally hate it, like, because tests on a computer, I'd probably do 30% worse on.
Absolutely.
But if I can see it on paper, I do fine, I answer it.
There's like a mind-body split when you're talking about technology, just because, I mean, you're still here physically,
Right.
but your technology is created. It's what's running.
I feel like even when I'm taking a test on the computer on a lockdown browser or whatever it might be that I can't go anywhere else, I'm still thinking of a different website I want to be on.
You're using technology. Technology is your brain. You're typing on your brain. This brain is telling that brain what to put into
Right.
the whole scheme of it. I mean, there's no physical action of you sitting here thinking, if this is not responding to you, that's underlining words that are spelled wrong. That's correcting your thoughts. I mean, it's controlling you without even knowing it. I mean,
I read someday on Facebook, this guy that's like, yeah, I was writing a 12-page paper today on paper because you had to handwrite it, and I wrote a word wrong and just kept writing because I thought I'd correct itself. And it's just like, I was writing it, I'm not typing it
I
anymore.
mean, like you said in class, I want to talk about how the phantom vibration. I mean, I get a lot. It's scary that we're getting so connected with technology. It's telling us that it's here.
Yeah.
It's not leaving.
You think, I mean, your phone's going to vibrate, what, like 1,500 times a month, if not more?
Well, usually.
Like, that's a lot. So for that to happen, we're thinking, it's happening more than it actually is.
Yeah, I mean,
My vibrate's like 200 a month. That.
I mean, just
I don't know what mine is. I'm just,
look at the irony in the situation right now. Without technology,
we're still talking.
We're not even recording.
Yeah.
I
mean,
we'd be ready.
we're doing a final with technology. We're not
Like I said, we weren't recording.
This is a great preview.
We wouldn't be recording if we didn't have to.
Yeah, I mean, just how
We'd be
weird is
sitting,
that?
we wouldn't even be doing our final right now. We'd be doing it final minutes too, Friday or
I
whatever.
mean, it's just weird. I mean, we just did our last 3 assignments by talking to that.
Using referencing
My
from
7th assignment.
referencing
Talking
stuff on
to
the
that.
internet, on iPads, computers, whatever we had written down.
I mean, can you imagine what it would be like if we had to go through and actually use the library for what it's for and open a book?
I've never opened one of the books in this library. I've been here for 4 years. I've never
I've done
opened
it
one.
twice, and that's because it was also for me.
Well, no, see, it's weird. The second, it's actually creepily weird. I might be a little bit off topic now, but it has to do with this. For persuasion, we have to write a paper. And I just chose a place to sit in the library. And I was, I'm just letting it flow. And I look up, and guess what section I'm sitting in? Last persuasion section. I'm sitting in the persuasion and advertising section of the library. Today, when I was working on this paper, or on my philosopher profile, I was sitting over in the far corner, off by myself, typing. I look up, guess what I'm sitting? Philosophy section.
It's probably some kind of unconscious.
It's the weirdest thing ever. Because I was typing in a spot and I was just like, I can't work here. And so I got up and I moved. I just was like, I need an outlet, so I plugged in here.
Was that a fate or destiny?
No, but it was weird as shit because I was just like, alright, that's the second time. I mean, the first time I could see a big coincidence. Second time,
You
Why should I
probably
believe that?
just do it. Just do it.
because it happened.
But yeah.
So, what do you guys personally take away from the class? Like, what
Oh,
did you learn?
Well, the idea of
Tendrum is the worst movie ever. Never show it again.
I did not expect that from a movie of something like that. I mean,
words
takes-
going on.
Yeah.
I personally liked it.
I mean,
It wasn't the worst.
It wasn't the worst.
I liked it because it was actually, you learned something from
Yeah.
it. You learned the culture of Germany. You learned, maybe not the culture, but the attitude they had towards everything else.
well, it shatters what we expect as social norms.
Absolutely.
What makes us loving other people normal? Like, why is that? Where did
Why
that
is that bad?
Yeah, why is it bad? Why is coming from the society we're today, loving an 8-year-old and a 15-year-old?
Actually, they're both the same age.
Well, yeah, same age, but different.
Looks different.
Body of an 8-year-old, body of a 15-year-old, whatever. it is.
3-year-old.
3-year-old, whatever. It's just weird. But that movie takes that and just crushes it and says,
Why?
Why?
Why is it?
His head is 15 years old.
Yeah.
Why can't they be together?
exactly. I mean, it takes everything what we go by social norms and just proves that. I mean, the pee in the pot and drinking it. Why is that not normal?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Have you tried it?
yeah.
Have you tried it?
And just imagine.
Not Bear Grylls.
Well,
What will it do to us? Will it change us into an ogre?
well, society, just think, if it had started that way, that drinking our own urine was normal, we wouldn't think it'd be abnormal to see in a movie.
That's true.
I mean, it flips it
Necessary.
Yeah.
And some things, I don't know if you guys know this, but this is what I've heard in some places. Our toilet water is actually cleaner than some of the water that comes out of our faucets.
Yep.
And it's just
Because there's so many chemicals in those faucets.
the faucet, the water in the toilet has to be so clean when it goes into the sewage system that it has to start pretty much cleaner than it is. And then tap water, it only has so many filters because there's less restrictions on that.
Well, I guess
Because we put it in our body and now we're not peeing it into the systems.
Yeah.
If there is filters inside the toilets, otherwise the water comes from the same place.
Yeah.
That goes to your.
It goes to more screens or whatever.
Is there any other, what would you take away from the class?
It's pretty much just question everything. I mean, we probably all do the same thing, but
Before this class, actually question
A little bit.
I did.
I mean, I wasn't
to the extent that I do now, nowhere even close. I mean,
Especially, I mean, I'm a science person, so I gotta question stuff for like research and stuff. But it's like this takes it to like a whole new level in a way.
Yeah,
intellectual level, not
Your
a
social.
Well, I always questioned like the religious standpoint because I grew up Christian and I just never believed it. I truly never believed in God as growing up, and that's always why I questioned it. And now with philosophy, I question everything from the media to like, why am I even here with the Matrix?
Yeah, I think the big thing for me was, questioning everything, but creating a stance between things. Like, so if you believe in something, create that stance and stick to it, and prove it by asking questions about other things and telling them that they're wrong. The dialect.
Not telling them they're wrong,
but showing them by proving and asking questions and like making them realize, oh shit, I'm actually not right.
A way to defend your thing is question theirs more than try to defend your statement. Like, question theirs more because the more questions you have about their stuff, they'll come up with answers for some of them, but they can't come up with answers for all of them. They'll start questioning it themselves.
Like, oh, a ghost moved that curtain. Did it really? Or does it have something to do with that window open?
Yeah. You don't know because ghosts.
Always believe in ghosts.
You know, like,
I
believe in ghosts. Like, I'll defend that till the day I die.
I believe ghosts are real, but I'm the biggest skeptic when it comes to like, okay, are you sure you actually saw a ghost, or was it just your imagination? Like, I want to believe there's ghosts, but I always question, are you sure this really happened?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
One of the biggest things I took away from the class was, I mean, it doesn't really have to do with classes, just with Dr. Locke's style of teaching.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think of other classes and how a teacher is, in my mind, a teacher is someone who stands in the front of the room and just reads from their notes and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And then we take that and Dr. Locke's class, we shatter that. He doesn't sit in the front of the classroom and just, read out some notes. Your normal teachers, I mean, unless they lecture. Dr. Locke, he's cussing and stuff. I mean, and to some people, that's a cigarette. Yeah, I mean, to some people, exactly. I mean, the whole thing on he called retards.
Why
would like it? Yeah, exactly. It's a social norm that it's bad to do that. We don't do that. Why?
Yeah, they cuss in public.
Yeah, exactly. Don't cuss in public. He takes that and just, I mean, yes, he says it, but then he just takes it and proves it by using it in class. I mean, I wonder how many people, I mean, I've had it in class before and I knew, like, that's how he teaches, but I wonder how many people haven't had it before, like, what is this guy doing?
That's what I thought. First, day one, when he goes, shut the fuck up, sit down and listen, I'm like,
exactly.
Then what, you're talking to me
class, I called my dad, I'm like, Dad, you'll never guess what just happened. It's only the exact story. He's like, no way. That is fucking awesome.
Education has become such a repetitive action, I feel like sit, listen, take note, go home, study, or leave, go study. Like this, like I leave class and it's just like I'm walking by people and like I should ask them why they're doing that, and I just want to like question everything.
Why are you walking with that look on your face?
Yeah. I just like, I mean,
oh God, I think that every day. Why are you not happy?
Yeah.
Look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I held the door open for you.
Yeah. I mean, there's just, that's one of the biggest things I've taken away from this class is just because something is normal in society right now, why can't we take that and just throw it out the door?
You want to see people give you a good look? Walk down the left side of a busy hallway.
Oh yeah, because it's like everybody since we drive on the right side, it's like right side's going this way, the other side's going this way.
But even in England, they walk on the right side of the hallways.
Yeah, well, like my dad said when we were walking in the mall today, he felt awkward riding on the left side of the center. Like there's the hallway. We're walking on the left side, and then you got the little kiosks in the middle. We're walking on the left side. He felt really awkward doing that. I'm like, why? It's because it's just we're all going against traffic.
It's just I mean, in our brains, it's all subconscious. We don't think of it. I mean, unless you do what you did, and you're just like, well, this is weird. Like it's just we've been brain for so long. It's a pattern.
Yeah,
we follow a pattern. We live our lives in a pattern.
Kind of like in the Matrix when he's showing them the world and the people. They're walking against the traffic of the people, and then not Neo, but the other guy.
Morpheus.
Morpheus. He's just walking and dodging perfectly. Then Neo's having trouble trying to
Getting
hit.
elbows and
He's getting
woman in a red
elbows.
dress.
Yeah, gets distracted. It's just like, why is he getting hit? And Morpheus is he's just going through. It's just one, he's probably done it before, but two, it's just like he knows what to expect, and they're going against the traffic, and you just gotta act like you're.
Well, the reason why is I think Morpheus was just, he's just charging through. Everybody avoided him.
Yeah.
Neo's more like trying to dodge him. Morpheus just like move.
Yeah, he's kind of had that like aura of like, I'm gonna push you out of the way if you don't get out of my way. And Neo's kind of a skinnier guy, and just kind of like trying to get through this.
I think another thing that I took away was thinking about what you say before you actually say it, kind of thing. Where it's like, is this gonna be bad for me to say, or I catch myself doing different things. I'm like, is this what I always say to people? Like, I'll tell a story. I know, like, I'll talk to my girlfriend. I'll be like, I'll start saying something like, I think I already told you this. She's like, yep.
It's like weird what you now realize. You're just like, oh,
Yeah, it's like a self-realization now.
Yeah. I don't
Do any of you guys watch How I Met Your Mother at all?
Yes, not really.
Well, they had an episode where they pointed out the flaws in each other, and then they totally just told like one guy he chewed or one girl guy would chew really loud. Yeah, Lily, and then he pointed out and because I fucking hate you for this because he's like all I hear is her chomping her mouth now. Because like you just kind of learn to adapt to it, then you just totally forget about it. And then it's, when you come back, it's like when you tell them like we're all breathing right now, but we're not even realizing it. And you start manually breathing, and it's like.
Yeah, exactly. Or blinking is when I always catch myself. Like, I'll blink. I'm like,
Yeah. Because stuff you do it automatically.
yeah.
And when you start to think about doing it, it just feels really weird now. Like I'm blinking. I've been naturally
thinking about it. You're just
yeah.
like, what?
Because your brain can do it without even thinking. It's just like great. Yeah, I've done that too before. Like sat there breathing, I was like breathing really heavily, and then I start trying to calm my breath, breathing manually, and then a few minutes later I found myself breathing heavier again or something.
Or you tell yourself, don't forget this, and then like 30 seconds later you're like,
What
what did I tell myself not to forget? Literally forget what you told yourself not to forget.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So, after taking the class, getting through everything, is philosophy worth doing?
Yes.
I mean,
We got to question everything. I mean, what do we think?
Yeah.
Research everything.
You can't progress in life without questioning.
yeah, and just think of it. I mean, from what I understand, we were a better class in this. So I mean, it's hard to believe that the other class, I guess, wasn't good because I mean, I feel like as a whole class, I mean,
They must not think.
yeah,
That's all it is. You just gotta think.
yeah, you literally just have to go in with an open mind, just soak a little bit in, and then your mind just it clicks.
Well, I once heard a stat. It was like we only use like 8% of our brain. Oh yeah, something like that. But like guys like Einstein maybe used 14%.
Well, I heard Einstein used up to like 25%.
Okay, well either way, it's not 100% of our brain.
Yeah, and philosophy, I think, opens that little bit of that next percentile.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I think technology is starting to kill it more and more and more.
Oh yeah.
we don't think, we ask.
Like you can't write out equations when we have to use our calculators and whatnot.
Yeah, I hate it, but it's like I always try to do basic math
But then you gotta double check the calculator.
in my head. But then I'm like, okay, I have to do this on like the phone. It's like it's so simple. It's like, why do I have to use my phone or my calculator all the time?
Yeah, but I would definitely, I mean, in future references, I would recommend it to anyone. I mean, yeah, just be open-minded. Don't come into class thinking I am who I am, the way I am, and that's the only way I'm going to be. You can't.
Or
You gotta be
taking this as a general class and just gonna whip through it. You can't just go through the motions in this class.
You're not going to get the deeper meaning, and that's what I feel the whole class was about: finding the deeper meaning.
Escaping Plato's cave.
And it took a while to do that. It did take a while.
We all started in Plato's cave.
And now we're here. Starting from the bottom, now we're here.
Start from the bottom,
From the square. Now what do you guys see? You see one box or two?
See a house.
I say square.
Yeah.
I see 6 squares.
You see 6 squares? I see a rectangle.
I see a dice.
Thank you for tuning in to the late night show here at NSU.